What's up, everybody? It's Big Kiqo here. Today we'll be doing some UFC 330 predictions. So I had some gameplay in the background again for this one. Some of these fights I had to do random because, like, for example, Luke is fighting Trayshawn Gore. He's not in the game. Dustin Stoltzfus and Mansour Abdul Malik is not in the game. Charles Johnson opponent is not in the game. He actually just had a short notice. So there's a couple like randomized fights in here, just so y'all know. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now for the prelims, I'm just gonna quickly run through some of these because I don't really know a lot of these guys on the prelims. I think Vicente Luque is gonna beat Trayshawn Gore. He's a lot bigger, more experienced than Trayshawn, so I think he's gonna take that probably by like second round submission or TKO. Dante Johnson, Eric McConaughey, barely know either one of them, so I can't really give an accurate prediction on that. Jalen Turner versus Cal Fernandez. Fernandez leg kick TKO'd Harry Hardwick last year. We all know Jalen Turner and what he can do, so I think Jalen Turner will take this one, probably like a first or second round TKO. But I can see maybe going to the decision depending on Jalen's gas tank, because he hasn't fought a whole lot, with the whole retirement thing and coming out. Next up, we got Chidi Njokuani versus Joel Alvarez. Don't know a whole lot about either one. I know Njokuani's had a couple losses, and Joel Alvarez, he was looking good at lightweight. He's now moved up to welterweight, and this is also short notice for him. I can see him taking it. He's looked good in the fights, like couple fights I've seen him in, and Njokuani, like I said, I'm pretty sure let's look at his record real quick. He's lost his last two. But he was on a 3-fight win streak before that, lost 3 before that. Okay, so I'm going to go with Joel Alvarez with this one. I'm going to go with a unanimous decision because, he is moving up. And I do remember he fought Luque, and he didn't have the exact power he did at lightweight and everything. So let's move up to the main card now. Edson Barboza is kicking us off on the main card. Against Esteban Ribovic. He just lost to Gamrot a few months ago, and he also had that really good fight at the Sphere a couple years ago. We all know Edson Barboza. He's getting a little old and not so good anymore. So this one, I don't see going very well for him unless he can just catch Ribovic with something. But in his last fight against Jalen Turner, Edson Barboza did not look too good. And I remember the fights before that, he didn't look particularly great either. So, like this one, I'm going to go with the Esteban Ribovic. It could even be a first-round TKO, to be honest with y'all. Yeah, like I said, with Edson Barboza on the decline, it's just kind of like, it's kind of sad to see, but he's getting old, and he's had a lot of wars and stuff like that, so I just can't, I can't really see him winning this fight. I'm going to go, like I said, Ribovic with a first round TKO. Next up, we have Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Mansour Abdul Malik, he's still pretty new. He's had a few wins in the UFC. He got his first loss against Belgawi. I can't remember his first name. Belgawi beat him by TK on the third round last time. Dustin, I know he's lost the last couple fights, but he looks in really good shape, so maybe he'll turn things around in this one. I guess we'll see. But, this is like a kind of a hard fight to predict because I don't know too much about either one. Mansour Abdul Malik, I do remember him looking good before the Belgawi fight, but that dude was around same size as him, a lot more powerful, it seemed like, in the fight. So, he's going to have to work on some things like that. But I think he will take this fight by unanimous decision, maybe even like a late TKO or something. Like I said, Dustin's lost his last 2. He won by KO against Marc-Andre Barriault before that. He lost before that. He's won 3 in his last 10, something like that. So yeah, he's not looking too good. So I'm going to pick Mansour Abdul Malik by late TKO, maybe late TKO, but most likely unanimous decision. Next up, we have Charles Johnson versus a short notice replacement opponent, and let me see what his name was because I don't remember exactly because it just happened today where Uh, Charles Johnson's opponent pulled out. Jose Ochoa, he pulled out, and now Charles Johnson's taking on Eduardo Chapelin. Might be his debut. I don't think I've seen him on this fight. Uh, on this fight, I was about to say fight night. I haven't. I don't believe I've seen him fight in the UFC. Uh, I think Charles Johnson is going to end up taking it. He hasn't. He's been back and forth in the last year where he's wins and losses, but he's had a full training camp for this. Dude's stepping on short notice. Charles Johnson, he's a prospect killer. So if this guy's a prospect, then you know we're going to see what happens when it comes to Saturday night. Like I said, Charles Johnson is a prospect killer. So I'm going to pick him probably by unanimous decision as well. I could see a TKO stoppage happening in this fight, but I believe it's just I'm going to go to a unanimous decision. For our co-main event, we have the women's strawweight title on the line between Mackenzie Dern and Jillian Robertson. Mackenzie Dern won the vacant strawweight title late last year, and against Virna Jandiroba in a fairly competitive fight. I had Mackenzie Dern winning. I remember seeing it being pretty split online and everything. Like I said, I thought Mackenzie Dern won, edging out with striking and grappling ability just being a little bit better. Jillian Robertson, she's won 5 in a row, 3 decisions, 2 TKOs. She has solid wrestling and grappling ability, so things could cancel out in that department. It could be a stand-up battle, or we could see a mix of both, like in the Dern Jandiroba fight, because a lot of people thought it would be stand-up only, but it did go to the ground quite often, and Mackenzie Dern kind of like let her take her down too at the same time, so we might see the same thing here. Jillian could go for a takedown. Dern could try to counter it with some of her jiu-jitsu. That's a very good possibility. I see this going all 5 rounds, though. I can see Dern squeaking out a close decision again. It seems like they both are around the same level in striking and grappling from what I've seen of both of them. Excuse me. And Mackenzie Dern, with being the champion, sometimes you have that slight advantage in decisions, so you never know. But I do think that she will retain in probably like a 48-47 unanimous decision, maybe even a split. Either way, I think it will be going to a decision, and could be a decent fight. I do remember her and Jandiroba being pretty decent. So it could be a good fight for the women, and hopefully I like Mackenzie Dern, so I hope she retains. But I'm not going to be too mad if she loses, I guess. I don't really know too much about Jillian Robertson other than I have seen her fight. What was it? It was Marino Rodriguez, Amanda Lemos, and I believe I remember seeing the Michelle Waterson fight. And like I said, she looks decent, so I wouldn't be opposed to her winning. But I do like Mackenzie Dern, so if I were to root for anybody, it'd probably be her. But yeah, my final prediction for this fight will be Mackenzie Dern by unanimous decision. And now for the main event, the welterweight title fight between Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary. Man, I really, really hope Islam ends up dominating this fight or finishing Ian Gary. I really like Islam. I didn't like him at first, but I've grown to like him. He's pretty funny. I like the way he fights. I didn't love the JDM fight. I will say that. I didn't love it. So that's the worst fight I've seen him in so far. I hope he doesn't do the same against Ian Gary. Low-key, I hope not, but it'd be kind of funny because I don't like Ian Gary at all. So seeing him held down for 5 rounds, it would be pretty funny. But I don't think that's how it's going to go. Ian is pretty well-rounded, unfortunately. He's a pretty well-rounded fighter. He's good at range. He has grappling ability. He trains with Charles Oliveira, so I'm sure he knows how to defend chokes and everything pretty well. And he's a taller guy at welterweight. He's taller than Islam, but so was JDM. So I don't think that's really going to matter much. And plus, Ian's pretty skinny for it being a welterweight, so I think that's always a factor too. And Islam's strong as hell, so I think he's still going to be able to get him down, get some damage down. Maybe he won't be able to keep him down super long. Maybe Ian's going to find his way back up, because of the grappling ability. But I can't see him getting them down and inflicting some damage. And Islam has decent power in the stand up, so he could get some damage done on the feet as well. My only concern with this fight is, like I said, Ian's pretty rangy, so he could easily fight at range, like jabbing and leg kicking for the whole fight. But I hope that's not how it goes, but I can totally see it going like that. Like I said, I'm a little concerned with that happening, and if he wins by like a lame leg kick jab decision, I'd be pretty upset. Like I I can see this fight being entertaining, but I can also see this fight being really boring in both aspects, grappling or striking, because like Ian's not the most exciting fighter anymore. He's more technical and he tries to win by points more than getting finishes now. Like from the last few years, he hasn't really tried to pursue a finish really, in my eyes. But like I said, I'm rooting for Islam here, and I can see him retaining in a very close fight. I could see this being, like I said in the last fight prediction for Mackenzie Dern, I can see this being like a 48-47 decision for Islam. It's going to be competitive, with Ian being definitely the biggest guy he's fought so far, besides JDM. But I can see it, like I said, being really competitive in all aspects of the fight, and I hope Islam gets a finish. But I'm not too certain it's going to happen. I can see, like I said, a 48-47 decision, and I'd be fine with Islam winning by decision. I just want him to beat Ian Gary, to be completely real with y'all. I just need him to beat Ian Gary, because if he wins the championship, then he's going to be completely insufferable, already more than he already is. So we need Islam to retain that belt and go on to fight more people at welterweight, because he plans on fighting more. So people thought he might retire. I don't. He said he plans on fighting more, and I couldn't see him retiring that early either. He wants to add to his legacy. So final prediction: Islam Makhachev by 48-47 decision. So those were my predictions for the whole card. I didn't do the early prelims. Not really too interested in in those fights. Neil Magny, I don't really care for him. Oralby, he's had some cool fights, but his last fight kind of pissed me off. And Jeremiah Wells, I barely know anything about him. I barely know anything about Magny's opponent, and I don't know anybody in the fight after them. So didn't really feel like covering it. But let me know what y'all thought down in the comments below. If what you think's gonna happen, if you agree with my predictions, anything like that. And let me know, like I said, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.